Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. David's just released his bum as he's walked out of the room. Forgive me for my wet hair, but if you've been following me on Instagram, you will see that the past 3 days, David and I have been without water in our flat. Not just us, the area that I live in a place which has like over 40,000 residents, and at the moment, because it's getting into the summer, we have a lot of sort of like people who come and stay in caravans and stuff, not in my house, but in their caravans in other places where I live. And so currently on where I live, it's over 60,000 people, all without water for 3 days. Our water is now back. As you can see, I've had a shower and washed my hair, and I've had a drink out of, no, I haven't had a drink out of the tap yet, but I've washed the vegetables that I needed to do. We've been able to flush the toilets. So yeah, we're feeling blissed out. But my God, it was a really, really tough 3 days. You just don't realise how much you rely on water. Even down to like David and I eat a lot of like rice and pasta and stuff, which obviously you need water to cook. Things like flushing the toilet, things like making a cup of tea. I used to sort of like fill the kettle up halfway, and even that, like I was thinking I was being good by not filling it up to the top for me and David. I've been measuring out cups of our bottled water. It's been a bit of a shambles. The places where they've had water for collection, they've either, every time we've gone there, they've either been closed, all the water's gone, or the queue is so long. David went along yesterday to try and queue and get some water and queued for about an hour, but it was like 30 degrees yesterday. You can't queue in 30-degree heat waiting for water. So yeah, we were fortunate enough to get some near where I work earlier this week before it really kicked off on the day that the water stopped. But yeah, it's been a day, it's been a couple of days of it, but I'm feeling blissed out and happy and clean. Today's video is nothing to do with me being blissed out, happy and clean. It's to do with, I've put this on because it's got food on it, strawberries. It's to do with my 5 most used cookbooks. So recently I said to you guys, what videos do you want to see? I think I might even have asked what video you wanted to see for today, Thursday. And so many people say cookery videos, videos about cookbooks, videos about food. And I have done a video where I mentioned, I mean, it's a bit old now, it's about a year old, a video where I go through all of the cookbooks that I own. So that's 50 cookbooks. I will have more cookbooks now because I'm forever getting them for like birthdays and Christmas and stuff. But if you want to go and watch that, then do go and watch that below. But this is my 5 most used cookbooks, and I've done that by how sort of like bashed around they are, or how many times I've cooked from them, or how tabbed they are and stuff like that. And these are my 5 most used cookbooks. What surprised me is that the person whose cookbooks I had the most of is Jamie Oliver. And although one of the Jamie Oliver books I definitely used a lot in 1 year, I cooked my way through the Jamie's Great Britain, about 4, maybe longer than that, because it was when I was eating meat. So 7 or 8 years ago, I cooked my whole way through that. But apart from that, I don't tend to use them and return to them as much as I do these other ones. So we'll start with the first book, which is my oldest book out of the pile, and also one that I've used loads, and it's New Covent Garden Food Company, A Soup for Every Day. This is 365 soup recipes. So what I love about this book, you can see how bashed up it is, look at that, and loads of tabs all over it. This is a book which has, every single day of the year, there's a soup. So it draws on what's seasonal in the UK at that time. It has got meat soups in there, but it's definitely, I would say, there's many more vegetarian, I wouldn't say vegan, but maybe there's a lot of vegan stuff in here. I think this book sort of came out before, yeah, because I've had this since I lived with my housemate, Neve. It was published in 2010, and I definitely don't think that there was as much sort of like vegan stuff going on there. But let's have a look at today's soup. And I'll give you an idea of what there is. What day is it today? The 14th. Yeah, 14th. Spicy sweet potato today, guys. So yeah, let's have a look and see if that's vegan. Olive oil, onion, ground ginger, ground coriander, cayenne pepper, cumin, cinnamon, mild curry powder, vegetable stock, medium potato, sweet potatoes, sugar, plain yogurt, but you could use vegan yogurt, and lime juice to taste. So yeah, and they're really, really great recipes. As you can see, there is fish and meat and stuff, because yesterday's one was crab and artichoke hearts. But it, as I said, draws on seasonal stuff. And yeah, there's just some great stuff in here. Let's have a look, because what I really like about it is that it's sort of, so like for Valentine's Day, for instance, it will be like a themed soup. Love and Heart, artichoke hearts with parmesan croutons. Let's have a look and see if there's a Halloween soup. Pumpkin and carrot for Halloween. And then as we get into sort of like Christmas, I think there's a whole host of Christmas soup. I think I may even have made one of these soups. I think I've made golden saffron soup, that's the Christmas Day one. I've also made white Christmas, which is the Christmas Eve one. So yeah, I mean, you could browse this book and find soups that you want, or use the index at the back and find out what, if you've got lots of something, and make it into a soup. But yeah, I really like the idea of sort of like flicking to a day and making soup out of it. I used to make so much soup when I was younger. It was my first thing that really got me into cookery. Actually, one of the first recipes that got me into cookery was a Jamie Oliver sweet potato and chorizo soup. And then I bought this soup book off the back of enjoying making that. And I used to have a friend come round, and we used to do soup club every single week. And he used to come round and I'd make soup and we'd just eat soup, which is lovely. So yeah, this is a very beloved book of mine. As you can see, I've used it loads and bashed it about loads as well. Next up is one of those books, so I sometimes take on a little bit of a project of mine and decide to cook from a cookbook for a whole year. I mentioned Jamie's Great Britain earlier, and try and cook the whole thing. So last year I tried to cook Everything in East by Mira Sodha. So this is vegetarian and vegan. This is 120 vegetarian and vegan recipes from Bangalore to Beijing. So lots of stuff: Japanese cooking, Chinese cooking, Indian cooking, Korean stuff, and I really did very well. You can see from like how many pages I've folded over how far I got through, and I cooked loads of amazing stuff from here. And I have returned to, so not only did I use it loads last year, I have returned to a good few of these recipes. I'm trying to, the pumpkin malai curry I make all the time, and so does my sister. My sister took a photo of it and made it loads. I've made the okonomiyaki a few times. The autumn pilau I'd made before last year, and I made it last year as well. I made it a few times last year. And the summer pilau I made a few times as well. But yeah, it's a really, really great book if you're into if you want to eat less meat, or you're a vegetarian or vegan, then it's absolutely great. Something else I discovered in here was udon noodles for breakfast. There's some sushi recipes in here. So yeah, I made some really, really fun stuff that I wouldn't ordinarily have made. Here we go, like sweet potato cakes with kimchi mayo. So it's set into sort of, the sections it's set into are snacks and small things. That's probably always my favourite, you know. And I made a mushroom bayo. God, I'm loving going back and revisiting these. Let me have a look at the beginning page. It might tell me what's in there. Yeah, so, oh no. Snacks and small things: salads, noodles, curries, rice, tofu, flowers and eggs, pulses, sides, condiments, sweet and helpful things. And then it's also got alternative contents, which I really love, and another of my book features alternative contents. So if you're looking for something quick, or if you want something for breakfast, or stuff that you've got in the cupboard, things for a picnic, and then if you're in a particular season and you might want something. So the summer stuff they've got here are char grilled summer vegetables with a dana jeera dressing, which I did make, Sri Lankan beetroot curry with green bean malam, I made that too, tomato curry, I made that too, tomato, pistachio and saffron tart, I don't think I did make that. So yeah, a great book. She's got a whole host of books. Quick India is another one of hers as well. Amazing stuff. Really look into her. Her recipes are so easy to follow as well. And everything in here as well, I was able to get from the Chinese supermarket on the Pearly Way. I went up there and had a lovely day doing that. So there we go. Next up is another book that I've had for a long time. This is A Girl Called Jack, 100 Delicious Budget Recipes by Jack Monroe. I bought this when David and I moved in with one another. And back in those days, as I've said, I was eating meat. So we made a lot more of it, because I made a lot more of the stuff in here than I would do now. There's not tons of meat in here, but there's lots of meat. And this was a collection of recipes that Jack put together when she got made redundant as a fire. What do you call it? A fire? I want to say fireman. David, what's the like gender neutral term for fireman?
Firefighter.
Firefighter. I was going to say fire person. She got made redundant from there and found herself in like a financial situation, and these are the recipes that she pulled together in order to be able to cook for her and her son. And she's a great activist, and I love a lot of her books. I made a video for Book Break about one of her books a couple of years ago, and yeah, really, really love it. So I bought this when David and I moved in together, because moving in together and paying rent and living on our own was going to cost us a lot more, and we did cook from this a lot. We made a lot of these things, and very much enjoyed it. But things that I return to time and time again, there's two recipes The first one is this, though. This is a wintry one. So this is chestnut and red wine casserole, which is absolutely delicious. That with mashed potato just screams wintertime for us. David and I eat that probably once a week throughout the winter. It's so gorgeous. And you use chestnuts, which have got such a lovely texture. Yeah, I just love that so much. And then another recipe that I use time and time again, and honestly, when it was lockdown, I made it every single week, was white chocolate and peach tray bake. So this is a cake. I'm not very good at baking, but this never goes wrong. And you can make it with white chocolate and tinned peaches, so like you can get the tinned peaches, they can stay in your cupboard forever, but it also gives you different alternatives. So for example, you can make a Bakewell style tart. You could use fresh raspberries and replace 50 grams of the sugar with ground almonds, and she said instead of peaches you can use apricots, mandarins or berries, anything you fancy. So like I would swap out whatever sort of fruit I could get in a tin, because at the height of the pandemic you couldn't always get everything. So like one week I'd make pineapple and chocolate, the next week I'd make blueberry and white chocolate, or I'd make a blueberry Bakewell style and things like that. So yeah, a great book for budget cooking, and yeah, really delicious stuff as well. I remember making not meatballs as well, and there was another one in here which I wouldn't make now, but was chicken with tinned mandarins, and it was so yummy. I remember really being delighted with it. But yeah, really, really great book. Next up is my newest of all of the books, and that's One Pot Three Ways. You can tell it's not as bashed around as the rest of them, by Rachel Amar. So Rachel Amar, these are all vegan, all of these recipes, and what she does here is she makes a base recipe. So for example, here it's peri peri mushrooms, and then we'll show you 3 different ways you can have it. So you make 4 servings, so this is perfect for David and I. So I make 4 servings of the peri peri mushrooms. The first night I might have peri peri pittas with it, and then the next night I might have it with potato wedges and slaw, but there's 3 options every time, and the other option here is peri peri charred sweet corn salad bowls. I've tried books like this before where you make a base recipe, like batch cooking basically, and then make other stuff, and none of them have been as good for me as and I've got as much use of out of than this one. Soya grilled vegetables is something I make really, really regularly. It's beautifully bright, it's lovely. The 3 options you have with it, sometimes I've mixed and matched elements from there because I've loved so much. So soya kebab wraps, so sometimes I've taken the wrap and I've also made it with, they've also got like a jollof rice, jollof with plantain and salad. And then the other option is kale salad with peanut vinaigrette. There's so much fruit and veg and lovely stuff in here. Here's another one, roasted red peppers and cherry tomatoes, and then how you can have that many ways. And then it's also got like a little sweet section at the end, what to do with puff pastry and how to make one like vegan puff pastry. There's like a cake recipe and what you can do with that. But yeah, all really, really accessible, and like I really love the way she tells you how to make the main thing and then how long it will keep for, and if you can freeze it and stuff like that. And yeah, I haven't had a bad thing yet out of it. One of the things was so good, David and I made ourselves sick with it because we were so enjoying it. We had beer buttered mushrooms and they were amazing, and we ate like a portion for 4 for 2 people in one night, and we they were so good, but we felt so full afterwards. And yeah, it's done into sections of a pot, a tray and a pan, so whatever you've got access to, there'll be something in there. Just in jerk spice lentils, I'd quite like to do that. But yeah, really, really great. Really, really great book, and I've cooked from it loads since having it. And then you probably all know that the main one that I've cooked the most from is the Green Roasting Tin by Rukmini Iyer. This is a collection, so there's a whole roasting tin collection which I own all of. Quick roasting tin around the world, green roasting tin on the barbecue, the sweet roasting tin, the original roasting tin book, but none have I used as much as what I call the Green Bible. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing book. It has taught me so much about cooking. I'm very good at following a recipe, but I didn't really know much about pairing flavours together and stuff, and like what would go with what, and this has really helped me with that. This book is basically chop, 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 and stick stuff in a pan and pop it in the oven, and that is my favourite way of cooking. There's so many different things in here that I've cooked. So like, I mean, this for instance I cooked the other day, simple all-in-one dal with roast shallots, coriander, pomegranates and cashews. So I cooked that for friends the other day, because you can get so ahead by chopping everything up and putting it in like a roasting tin and then popping it in the oven when they arrive. you can get, it's the best book ever I've ever had for entertaining if you've got guests coming around. And the combination, so as I said about alternative content, she's got some recipe pairings here. So for example, if it was autumn, you could have autumnal dinners, so you could make gently spiced pearl barley with tomatoes, leeks, dill and pine nuts, and then pair that with sweet dreams are made of greens. And yeah, it's just got really, really great recipes. It's separated into a vegan section at the front and a vegetarian section at the back, and then those sections are separated into quick, medium and long roast things. And yeah, honestly, I haven't had a bad recipe out of it. Every single thing, and I've made almost everything. I started by folding the pages over and also like writing down, so for example, writing down when I'd made them, but it got so, like I was just making them so much that it just seemed irrelevant to do that. Yeah, really, really great book. Would definitely recommend it, and it will make you so good at chopping because there's so much chopping involved here, but my favourite cookbook ever, without a fail. So there we go, those are my 5 most used cookbooks. Would love to hear what your most used cookbook is in your kitchen, or if you've got any of these cookbooks here, would really, really like to hear it. And yeah, I'll see you all again on Sunday for the reading vlog. Bye!